In this video, I'm going to show you how you can manage students' information. Remember in the previous video, we managed to admit students. Now, in this section, we're going to show now how can you manage the students. So, let's look at the statuses of a student. So, student can be in different status. We'll say that a student can be in a pending status. Let's say the student has not turned up. You can come here to edit. These are active students, remember? And then I go ahead and say this student is pending. So this student will be set back to the admission section, right? That student is not being counted. They'll be here under admitted students. In fact, if you come here, you'll see that the student number of active student has reduced by 1. So now let's say this student has turned up and you want to set them to be active. So you have to come here to admission, then admitted student. So here you'll find a list of all your admitted students, and then go ahead and say edit, and then say this student is now what? Is now active by saying here, by clicking there. Then that student will proceed in the section of what? Of active student under student center. So you'll be able to find that students here, right? Now, if you click on the home page, you'll be able to find that, the dashboard will be able to see that the student number has increased by 1 because only count active students. Now, let's say that that student has left school and is no longer with us. Maybe the student did not turn up or left school. So how do you delete a student? In fact, you don't delete them, but you set them not to be active. So how do you set a student not to be active? You just simply come to student, click on edit, and edit their record, and then come here and say the student not to be active. So by submitting, the student will be set not to be active. And if you come back here, you'll see that the students have been reduced by 1. And if you want to access this data of this student that is not active, you can find it here under system admin in the bottom, not active students. That's where you'll find the data of students that are not what? That are not active. If you want to update them back to the system, just simply select all of them, come here and say change the status, or you can just simply come to edit one by one and set them to be what? To be active. So let's say I want this student to be active, just select all of them and then say set active and submit. So this student will be jumped back into the what? Into the system, and you see here the student have increased by 3. And if you come here to the students, active student under student center, you're able to see that all the students have done what? Have turned up here. Now let's see how do you admit a student. I've already shown you. Now how do you change the student's class? Let's say that the student has changed class, so maybe you did a mistake, you want to change the student class. To do that, just simply come to edit on a student that you want to change class, and then here you'll find different things. All right, you'll find this section. I've already explained it. So the most important part here is, do you want to change class of this student? You say yes. So make sure that you don't do this every time. Do it actually when it is really necessary, because it may mess up with other things as well, such as school fees billing. If you send maybe a student in the middle of the term, this student might end up being billed twice. So all those are that. So make sure that you set these classes very carefully. So you set the student class from there. So I can change, maybe this student is now in S2 in P2, and then I select their stream, and then go ahead, maybe middle class, sorry. If I want them to be maybe now P1, I can go ahead and select P1, and then select a stream of P1 that this student is in, and then I go ahead and say this student is active. So if I want to set the photo for this student, let's say I want to set this one to be, let me get here just some random photo. I want to show you just how you can set a photo. I want to set the photo of the student. I can just simply come here. In fact, this is a very important part. I'm not seeing a face photo, but let me set this. I can just simply come and crop it. However, this is a very important part, setting photos of student. In fact, it is very important. You have not to skip it. So let's say I want to set using computer. Let me just get here some photo. Let me say I'm going to use this one. So I crop his face just for testing purposes. But I believe you'll be having real photos for your student, not doing what I'm doing here. I'll save and then say desktop. and then I come here to the system. All right, let's say I want to edit this student, this first student. I want to change their photo, this first student. So I come to it and first determine the student I want to change photo for. Come to edit, click on edit, and then go ahead and come here to browser, so I can drag and drop it at this browser. So if I want to drag and drop, you have to make sure that you drag and drop it to the exact word browser. Let me show you how you do it. Where is it? So I come here to desktop. I've put my photo on desktop. So you drag and drop it to the word, not the field. On the word browse, that's where you put it. All right, so if I do so, I'll be able to preview my student photo there. Then let me go ahead and update it. So I click on continue editing and then submit. So the system will go ahead and submit the photo and keep me on the same page before I click on what? Because I click on continue editing. So you can be able to view your student's your student photo. That is how you set your student photo. So another way of setting student photo, I think this one I should do it in a separate video. Let me do the student photo setup in the separate video. So another thing, so that's how you set your student information. That's how you manipulate a student. That's how you set your student classes. So you can find individual classes of this student in this section. The class that this student has spent in our school, can find them here. So these are different classes that this student has spent in our school. All right, so another way how you can find the classes that this student has spent in our school, here we shall be showing only the current class here. All right, so if you want to see all the previous classes that student has spent at school, you come here to student classes. All right, student classes will be able to find all the classes that this student has spent at school, at our school. So you can just simply come here to filter, and then I say I want maybe search by class. I want to see all search by student, so I can be able to say search by student. I click here and then say search. Here we're in student classes, student's classes. So you'll be able to find all these classes that this particular student has found at our school. If you want to see which specific student are in this specific class, you just simply click student classes, come here to, and then select a class. For example, I want to see all students are in P4. Click here on P4 and say search. So the system will show me the instances of students that have ever been in this particular class of P4. Likewise, I want to see the student of this year. I want to search by student. I want to see the student in specific stream. You can search from there. However, that is how you search, like the instances. I want to see how many classes this particular student has finished here. So I can just simply come here to student classes and figure from there and search from there. That's how you search a student. Let's say search. I think this was no longer active, and then be able to see the students that have been in their respective classes. You'll be able to see here. Here you can even change the students' classes. You can be able to admit a new student in a specific class from here. You can as well come and click on new, then you select a student. For example, you select a student and then you give them a new class and then a stream. That is also another way. I'm just showing a different way. Let's say you want to change the student stream. You can either use this interface, the one that I use, or you can just simply come and change from this side. Just change the stream from there after searching a specific student. So those are the two ways how you can do it, how you can manage students' classes, right? Now, how can you come to active student? How can you find the student that are active in a specific class? So you can just select active student, then come here to filter by. So I can say I want to see the filter student that are in P6, right? Then say search. There I'll be able to see the students that are in P6, that are actively in P6 at this moment. Yeah, so you can update the guardian's phone numbers using that interface. Alright, that's enough for student management. I've shown you how you can change student class, how you can manage the student information, how you can filter it. Now in the next lecture, let's look at how you can set photos of students, how you can upload batch photos, how you can set photos using a mobile phone, something like that. That's what we're going to look at in the next lecture. So make sure that you don't miss. Not lecture, training video. Make sure you don't miss.